cloud button. Hey everyone, welcome to our Tuesday night joined team call. So happy to have you all with us. I'm just going to co-host to you and co-host to you, Carrie and Sherry, and that way we're good. All right. Hey, anybody know it is the end of August? How on earth? Thank you all for coming out of your gardens to be here tonight. I really appreciate it. Where we are, it is ridiculously hot. You would not be able to convince me that summer is over. That's no, coming to a close. So I think we're going to have warm weather for a little bit yet. And Carrie's like, boo. Okay, Carrie's in a little bit of a different place than I am. And I need to have my Fahrenheit to Celsius converter going here. Carrie, hold on, I need to look. What is it like where you are? You need to unmute.
You're muted.
Sorry. A little unseasonably warm this weekend. We're in triple digits this weekend. Normally, I would say we would be upper 80s this time of year.
Okay, so right now, what you're at about 32 degrees Celsius, from what I can see, Celsius. And so that's what we are at the height of our day. So interesting. But then we just get really, really cold and we just don't want to do that yet, I don't think. So
and then we cry and rock back and forth.
Oh, if all the Canadians did that, we'd be rocking for 8 months. We can't do it. We just gotta let it go. Oh dear. Okay, so let's see your beverages tonight, folks. Because I want to see if anyone's sporting a pumpkin spice lot. No, okay, good. Just checking. Because today is pumpkin spice day, didn't you know? I saw a really great post, and I think it was Christina Williams in her stories, and she was like, okay, you're getting duped, y'all. If you are posting about a pumpkin spice latte today, you're losing money. Because you could be paying 30% of what you're paying at Starbucks, and you could be making anywhere between $400 to $1,700 this month just by talking about a drink that's not going to put you in an early grave. Okay, so I love that. I love that angle of it's y'all are posting, y'all are doing what I do anyway, and you're not getting paid for it. You're just getting sicker. Awesome. Fantastic. So in an early grave. Yes. Well, you know what I mean. So tonight is going to be short and sweet, or shorter and sweeter, because we are at month end and we want to give you guys just a good dose of inspiration and encouragement to go and finish that month strong. And I know that Carrie has a fire burning in her belly. She always does. So I want to hand it over to her because I want to hear, she told us what she wanted to talk about. And I'm I'm going to sit back with my cup and I'm going to listen and take some notes. So the floor is yours, darling.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get going right off the bat here. And just by show of hands, or you can even put it in the chat, who here has a traditional source of income right now? Traditional source of income. Okay.
Trisha will, who's coming in as well.
Okay. So maybe half or so. I am curious, who desires to have Plexus be your primary or significant source of income? You can just raise your hand. Give me a thumbs down, thumbs up. Primary. Okay. So
and every farmer on the call would be like, yes, could Plexus please increase what some of these ladies have huge farming ranching operations, and they're like, yes, I would like Plexus to help pay the farm bills. That would be fantastic.
So I'm sure you guys have all heard the idea that this could be something that you do sometime, or it could be something that you do full time, but sometimes doesn't yield quite the result. Now, if you commit to something part-time, that's a little more solid, committed toward that, right? But if you are more in the lines of working towards something a little bit more significant, I want to talk to you about being the CEO of that sometime or the CEO of that full-time. Now, if you are driving a car and you are, how many of you know how to drive a stick shift, like a manual car, right? You're gonna push in the clutch, right? And you're gonna put on the accelerator, right? As you pull that out. So in theory, if you're trying to transition from one thing to another, you have to be able to let out the clutch and push the accelerator as you're growing toward that, right? Whether you want it to be something semi-significant or something very significant, there is a process that you have to wrap your brain around what your approach is. Now, this is something that you can do whenever, however you want, but ultimately your mindset around whether it's part-time or full-time or looking for something significant, or if you want to transition toward it, there's a mindset that I will encourage you to adopt around it. And because we're wrapping up month end, this is probably a great time to talk about it, because as you CEO your opportunity, whether you want it to be something part-time or full-time income, this is a mindset that you will want to have around it throughout the year, not just at the end of the month, right? So how many of you, show of hands or put in the chat, how many of you set yearly goals for yourself? Okay. How many of you break that down to a quarterly goals? Super wise. Whether you do it part-time or full-time, or whether you want significant or semi-significant income, that's wise. That's a wise thing to do, because an arrow without a target has nowhere to land, right? And where there is no vision, people will perish. So you have to have something that you're working toward tangibly. What's cool about setting a yearly goal is that when you break it down to quarterly and even monthly, if you don't meet your monthly, you could still meet your quarterly. And if you don't meet your quarterly, you could still meet your yearly, because sometimes just life happens to us, right? And the rug gets pulled out, we have life challenges and things happen, and we don't always have the ability to do what we desire. But that's okay, because you could still make up for it. If you don't meet this month's goals, you could still meet the quarter. And if you don't meet the quarter, that doesn't mean you can't meet the yearly. So I just want to congratulate you, because you just landed the job of your dreams. You got perfect hours, you got perfect pay, it's flexible, it's you got great PTO coming up. There's just one problem for that. You don't have the address of where you're going. Everything's perfect about it, but you don't know how to get to the building, right? Well, what I want to encourage you to think about is that you are the CEO of your Plexus building. And knowing the address and knowing the plan of where you want to go will actually help you arrive for where you want to be. So you have to define that. Otherwise, it's super ambiguous for what you specifically are working for, okay? How many of you have ever eaten at the restaurant? And I might be shooting myself in the foot here with this analogy with Canadians, but has anybody ever eaten at the restaurant Chick-fil-A? Okay. Chick-fil-A. For those of you who are not familiar with Chick-fil-A, they're one of the healthiest fast food restaurants out there, by the way. And all of their CEOs are owner operators. In other words, if you are a franchisee of Chick-fil-A, you have to owner operate it. That's part of their condition to be a franchisee. Now, whether you realize it or not, you are a franchisee of Plexus Worldwide, right? And you can owner operate this, or you can sit back and you can let other people do or not do what needs to be done truly by a chief executive officer, right? Now in our company, we've got Tarl, president, and then we have a chief executive officer, right? Alec, amazing human being, right? He runs a lot of the day-to-day stuff. So the president has his roles, and then the CEO runs the day-to-day stuff. So I want you to see yourself as somebody who's running the day-to-day stuff, okay? Which is so wise around your mindset around what you're doing, is because you're owning it. Your ownership of it is super, super important. And any successful business owner will have a 90-day and a 1-year plan, right? So as we wrap up this month, then I want you to be thinking about some things that you can still do today and even tomorrow to finish this month strong. But also, if you've not mapped your year and your quarterly, and I love helping people strategize. It's one of my giftings, is to strategize with people and go, okay, where do you want to be in a year? And let's break that down to the quarter, and then let's break it down to the month, right? And the fluidity of the month to the quarter is brilliant, because when you have a month that's not so great, anybody ever have a not so great month? You don't be sad, don't be butthurt. You can still make up for it in the quarter. So look at where you're at for the year, look at where you're at for the quarter, and then look at today and tomorrow and say, what can I do to finish this month to put me closer to my quarterly and also my yearly goals? And let me just say one other thing. If you have predetermined success as a CEO of your business, a lot of the ins and outs of what we navigate are going to be minutia to you. Meaning, let's talk about the logistics of a Chick-fil-A business, okay? So they have to determine where they want to be 1 year from now. And so what does that look like? Well, they need to have X amount of employees. They need to have X amount of chicken. They need to have X amount of fries. They need to have beverages. They need to have paper goods, right? These are all things that are inner working of that model of business because arbitrarily, we sometimes choose to close the door on what we're doing. Sometimes it's up here, and sometimes it's actually physically, like we're not doing anything toward that. And then we have, if nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Truly, that's the bottom line. But how would Chick-fil-A have any kind of success if they didn't have chicken? How would they have success if they didn't have paper goods? What if they didn't have that yummy Chick-fil-A sauce? Like, those are all things that that opens up space for them to have success. Now I want you to parallel that to our business model. What do you have to have in order to meet your monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals so that you are successful in business? Because whether you want to make $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month, you have to have a plan. You have to have a target that you are shooting for regularly so that you know where you, like, am I on target? Am I on the right path? Am I doing it? Because if you're hobbying this, you are going to have a hobby outcome. It might work sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time. And that, to me, doesn't generally yield the fruit. In my experience, the reason why I believe that we as leaders have success is because it's a choice that we've made. It's because we've chosen to become a CEO. Now, the cool thing is that tonight when you go to bed, if you've not made that decision before to be a CEO with the level of success you want to have, it's just a choice. Like, success is a choice. Your ability to have success is 100 to 1000% dependent upon you, right? So in a Plexus franchise, what do you need to have? You need to have a business plan. What's your plan? We have product, solutions. We have solutions financially, and we're looking to connect people out in our world, some that we have currently in our sphere and some that we're going to continue to add to our sphere. They are part of our equation. So if you think very logistically black and white, you have a solution that people need. What is the business model to make that happen? How can you consistently influence people for that solution that's happening in your life so that you're casting the vision for what's possible in their life? Because really, at the end of the day, we're just professional vision casters for what's possible. We've got solutions. People need those solutions. We have to be talking about those solutions. We have to have chicken. We have to have fries. We have to have beverages. We have to have those pieces of the puzzle that make it successful, right? The other cool part, it's not rocket science, you guys. This is not, oh, I need to go study and learn more about how Plexus Slim works. I need to learn more and more and more and more. No, you don't. You just need to show up and you need to paint the picture for what's possible for other people consistently. That will give you confidence, which will give you courage to keep going, right? So treat it like a business, put in the work like you own it, right? And know that people are counting on you. There are people counting on you to cast the vision for what's possible for their lives. There are people right now out there that don't know what's possible for them because you're not telling them. And can I just say, I know I've talked about this on a Monday morning live, your brand on social media is not an offer. You asking somebody if they have any reason to consider what Plexus offers is an offer. It's an ask. But putting your brand out there and expecting, you might be a social media influencer and you might have 10,000 followers and you might have a lot of influence over people. You put something out there and you'll get 100 messages in your inbox. If you don't have 100 messages in your inbox, you don't have that influence yet, but that's okay because you can still gain that. Do you know how to gain people's trust? Be consistent. Be trustworthy that they can come to you and give their financial desires for better, for more, their ability to gain health freedom is in your hands. Like you have to show them that it's trustworthy, that you're trustworthy to help them link arms with you in that process, okay? So most athletes actually don't make it to the Olympics, but it's not the sport or the Olympics' fault because any great feat requires knowledge and action. So you know what you have. Please tell me you know what you have. Raise your hand and tell me you know with confidence what you have, right? Right? 2 hands in the air. We know confidently what we have. All you have to do is action it. Like, what is actually holding you back from consistent action? Whatever that is, we need to bust through that fear, bust through whatever that is for you, because the sooner you figure that out, the sooner you're going to tap into freedom, right? You have to be able to work through that. You don't sit there for another day and not ask, reach out, ask your leaders and say, my fear is, help me work through this. If you don't ask for help, you're not going to get it. That's the bottom line. You have to be able to humble yourself and say, I'm not where I want to go, and say, I'm coachable. And if there were any area that I could come to you and say, if I were to evaluate your social media and give you some constructive criticism, would you be open to receiving that criticism? Like, ask your leaders to give you that ability to be honest with you so that they can help you get where you want to go. Don't stay another day where you're at. Do not, if you are not having the success you want to have, do not stay one more day where you're at. You have to wave your white flag. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength to ask for help. And you need to say, I need to make X amount of dollars in the next year. I'm open to constructive criticism. Tell me what I need to do. Tell me where I might be coming up short in those areas. And I will receive it, and I will be coachable, and I will continue to make those changes and improvements in order to get where you want to go. Do not be attached to any outcome of any labor, because everything that you do in labor is fruit. There's nothing that is lost on your activity. You can do activity that is not yielding the most desirable result, but the point is that you have to do something. Something is better than nothing, right? It's okay if because more importantly for anybody, it's for you. Like every day that you show up and do the things, that is building your own belief and your own confidence, that's saying, no matter what I get in response or don't get in response today, I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to do the things. And you just keep rinsing, repeating that activity, trusting the process. Here's what happens, you guys. You go through the process and you do activity and it doesn't yield that immediate result, and you get butt hurt and you stop and you pause and you ponder and you fear and you like, I got to figure this out. But you do nothing in response to that. You have to do something every day, if anything, for yourself to move in the direction of more fruit. So don't be attached to the outcome. There's nothing wrong with letting people know what you're doing and asking them if they have any interest or consideration for what it is that you're painting the picture that's possible for. And honestly, people want to know, can they have success? You are a professional mountain mover. Show them success is possible, because the more success you have, the more people you're going to open up space for that they're going to go, Janelle is so freaking successful. People want to be with successful people. People follow people with clear vision. Are you clear on where you're going? Like when we talk about setting a one-year goal, this is not so that you logistically have something to work for. That's helpful, but it's actually not for you. It's for you to have the actionable plan so that people know what they're following. And they're not going to know to trust you for the follow if you're not actually showing up and doing the things that actually yield fruit, right? How many of you would just love for somebody to get in your inbox tonight and say, hey, I've seen what you're doing in this health and happiness company. I could totally see myself doing that. I think I could be a diamond in your company. How do you know to tell them what to do if you're not doing it? Right? If you're in the slow lane and you have somebody that wants to be in the fast lane, how do you draft with them? How do you be in the fast lane with them if you're over here in the slow lane? So in order to get where you want to go, you already have to be that next level of here, followed by actionable steps in the fast lane, so that it's not a matter of if, you guys, it's a matter of when. Do you understand? That's up here. It's not if somebody comes along and joins me, it's when. So when you have predetermined success, you're expecting somebody to come on board the freeway with you and on ramp with you in that fast lane. Do you understand that? Like, that's where I've been for almost 10 years, is I came on and went in the fast lane. I predetermined success. I'm going to have success with this. I will continue to have success with this. That confidence, that lane that I'm in, is dictating other people to come in and go, I see you in the fast lane of success over here. I see you going to Hawaii. I see you taking your dad to the doctor at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday and you're not asking for PTO. You are having, I want that success. So you understand that your success with this is actually predetermining other people's success. You have to be able to show them what's possible so that they can believe in what's possible. That's what we're doing here. That's how we CEO. You're the CEO of this franchise. You run it. You have success with it. You stock it with all the things that you need for success, which means reaching out to people. It means building a brand on social media that people are like, oh my gosh, I want to do, or I can see myself doing. The highest form of flattery is set for somebody to come to me and say, I see what you do and I believe I can do it. If you make it complicated, if you're posting 50 things a day on social media, you're going to overwhelm. People are going to go, I don't have time for that. I don't have the energy. I don't have the wherewithal. Like, they need to be able to see us very simply, but very effectively building a brand that they can see themselves building a brand too. So focus on the people who want what you have to offer, who are in your target market, and you wash, rinse, repeat them. And once they're on board, you focus on happy product users. You have to sponsor people too, my friends. You have to sponsor people because, there's been times in my almost 10 years that I was the only recruiter. It was just me. You have to be okay with it being just you. Are you guys okay with it being just you? Be okay with that. Get good at it. Be resolved with it being just you. And then when you have other people, icing on the cake, but you have to be, don't be the type of thing where it says, I'll do this if other people will do this with me. If you're counting on other people, shame on you, because you cannot count on other people. The only person that you can count on to CEO your business is you. You have to CEO it consistently so that other people will do when they're ready, when they're good and ready, because people come, people go, they have whatever, and that's just the constant has to be you. You're the CEO, you have to constant. And your team may or may not be sponsoring with you. Don't get butthurt about that. Don't take it personal. You're always looking for people who are willing to do what you're doing consistently. Like, don't ever let what other people aren't doing dictate your ability to be in the fast lane. You have to resolve up here. I own this company and I'm in the fast lane. And I'm just waiting for people to catch the vision for being in the fast lane, living life on our terms, being healthy, being happy, and you keep going in that fast lane and people will on-ramp with you. Not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that is a mindset. You have to say, when people on-ramp with me, I'm over here in the fast lane. And when they come on board, I'm going to say, it's okay. This is the most simple, most effective thing that you can do. I'm going to walk you through this. These are the things that I'm doing. It's super simple and super effective. Let's go change some lives. And they're like, yes, they just want to know that they've got somebody at the helm running the race with them, doing the things that they know is possible. You're just professionally casting that vision. So identify how many people you need in order to reach your 1-year goal. So if you want to be Ruby in the next year, how many points is that? Reverse engineer, how many people is that? You break that down into the month. And then I want you to wake up bright and early tomorrow and I want you to say, how can I finish this month strong? How can I make this last day of the month matter? Because every single person that you bring on board tomorrow is somebody that could be in that fast lane with you on September 1st. Because I'm here to tell you, without telling you, some pretty darn amazing things are coming in September. The people that you onboard tomorrow are going to want and they're not going to be able to do that if you're not letting them know what's possible. Tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow is a big day for you, right? Because it's still a part of your quarter. Wherever you're at in your quarter, wherever you're at in your year, tomorrow matters. A no? How many of you have ever heard no? Like a gazillion times, or at least it feels like a gazillion, right? It does not mean no forever. I know you know that. A no is not a no forever. I laugh. I giggle. I giggle when people tell me no. Because you know why? I know it's going to be a yes someday. It's just a matter of when, not if they're going to say yes. I believe that. And so do you know that because I believe that, then I'm still over here in the fast lane with my activity. And I don't let anybody else dictate the trajectory of my future. I dictate the trajectory of my future. Don't ever let anybody change the trajectory of your future by what they do or don't do. Like, you've got to stay in the fast lane of activity, regardless of this is part-time or full-time or, supplemented income or replacement income, whatever that is, still CEO it. Because this could be very significant for you and your family. If you're the CEO and you only want it part-time, it could very well be something very significant for your family, unexpected, which is what it's been for my family, very unexpected, because I just decided to get in that fast lane. You know why I did that? Because I believe. High belief, high action. Little belief, little action. Cool thing is, it's all a choice. Your choice to believe is all dependent upon you. Never let it be dependent upon other people. It's just a matter of time, you guys, not if, when. And you just need to show them what's possible. All the way down to 9 p.m. on August 31st. Right? I would just love to hear from a couple of you, or just by raise of hands. I'm just curious. How many of you set goals this month? Raise your hand. How many of you set goals? Okay. Now, how many of you, show of hands, have met your goals already? Chelsea? Who else? Who else? Okay. You got some work to do tomorrow because you can still do this. There's a lot that can happen in a 24-hour period of time. It's all on you. It's a matter of who you're talking to, what the conversation is. Everything that you do, whether it yields that yes tomorrow or a week from now or a year from now, matters. Like, never discount that conversation that's going to happen tomorrow, because I know it's late anyway. Remember, everything that you do is showing other people what it looks like to do our business model. So if they are like, well, I don't want to be messaging people at 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So everything that you do, say, will they see themselves doing what I'm doing? The most important question you can ask yourself on a day in and day out basis: can other people see themselves doing what we're doing? It's the highest form of flattery, but it's also the most important component, because if we're casting the vision for craziness, you're gonna attract crazy people. And I know you don't want crazy people. I know you want stable, steady, consistent, resolved, confident people. Be that person. Be that steady, consistent, confident, stable person. Guess what you're going to attract? And so when you hear the word no, you're steady, you're consistent, you're confident, you're stable. And don't ever let other people dictate your steady, consistent, confident, stable nature. Because just because they're not into it at this very moment doesn't mean they're never going to be into it. Because you actually get to prove them right. Because they have limiting belief about themselves and what's possible. And so you can just go out there and just show them high belief, high action for what's possible. And you just continue to cast the vision for them, for what's possible, right? As the CEO, run it. Executive officer, run it. What are the steps? How do you lead other people? Lead yourself, lead others. Do what you would never want to operate out of hypocrisy, right? How many of you have ever had a hypocritic leader? Like, they say one thing and they do something totally different. Yeah. No, I do what I tell my team to do. I am absolutely in the trench with them, recruiting, messaging, following up. I'm doing all those things so I can tell them, you know what? Here's what I found. When I sent this message, this person said yes. That's all it takes, is just chief executive officer every day. Have a plan. Work toward that plan. How does that feel, you guys?
That's awesome. That's like rocket fuel. Anybody else feel like that? Feel like that was like rocket fuel in the tank. 1,000%.
I love, Chelsea, you've already got someone going for silver. That's awesome. You got your oxygen mask on with your recruitment, and now you're out there helping other people. I always encourage my team to reach their recruitment goal within the first 10 days of the month, so that they can take those people that they just recruited in the first 10 days and help them reach their ability to reach other people in the other 20 days of the month, right? So get your oxygen mask on first. Steward the first couple of weeks of September with the amazing incentives that's going to come, and do that the first 10 days so that you can go on to help the other people do what you've done, so that you can cast the vision for how you did it, and then you're going to help them do it. Any questions? I promised I would be short. I am short, 5'4", but I mean, you know.
You're good. You're good. That's
Sure.
perfect. I was actually going to say, with Carrie's suggestion of not sending messages now at like 9 or 10 at night, if you don't feel that that's how you want to project, you can do them in the note section of your phone. So they're already good to go to copy and paste them suckers in tomorrow, and you can send them. You can still do your work tonight if you still are jazzed up and ready to go.
Mhm.
But you can execute it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And then just,
Yeah.
go.
I'd like to take 1 minute and say a big congratulations to Doris Carlson, who hit senior silver this month. So good job, Doris.
Good job. And a huge shout out to Trisha, who just developed a silver.
So cool,
Congratulations.
you guys. Such amazing milestones. So amazing.
So awesome. And just a quick plug, our Boundaries book study is not starting this Saturday because it's Labor Day long weekend. We're going to just leave it. And we're going to start next Saturday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And it's going to be great. Oh, and when time change happens, the time is going to change kind of, sort of, not really. It'll stay 9 a.m. Saskatchewan time, but all y'all whose time changes, it will be different. So that will mean that we'll change to, Central Time, or however that stupid thing works when your time doesn't change, but everybody else's does. And your time zone doesn't stay the same, but it does, but nobody knows. Y'all know, because there's enough of us in Saskatchewan that we're like, yeah, what time is it actually? Nobody really knows. We just don't change. Anyway, guys, this is both in the Leader Lounge and it's being recorded. So I will get the recording up and into our business reset group. We also have a Q&A happening tomorrow morning. So don't forget to tune in for that. Really excited. Last week went fantastic and cannot wait to see what you guys do, because it is not over till it's over. So easy to negate those last 24 hours, go, I'll just do it next month. I've been hanging out with the kids all August and now, they're busy now. So I'll just wait till the first. No. Everything you do tomorrow counts. Everything you do tomorrow counts. So thank you, Carrie, for your wisdom and your presence, and for everyone for being here. Have a great night, guys. We're going to give you back half an hour. Take you. Take care. Thank you. Have a great night. How's that? All right. Bye, guys.